What are you doing?
Oh my god.
I don't even know what's going on. Turn on the light!
Hi there, Aquarius. This is your weekly reading for the week of December 7th through 13th. How are you doing? This is going to be an interesting week. Once we get past this new moon on Friday the 11th, it will actually get easier from there. We start off in a little bit of tension in that we're dealing, of course, with the Neptune square Saturn, the Uranus square Pluto. These are kind of ongoing because especially that Uranus square Pluto is still within about a degree of exact, and so it's going to continue to disrupt to a degree. And also there's, of course, other astrology that is ongoing at the same time. You know, there's a T-square that could be a little bit annoying, and that Pluto-Uranus, like I said, that's the one that's being stimulated. It's stimulated by Mars in Libra, and so when something is activated by the degrees of another object, then, of course, we're still touching on it. Whether it is exact or not, of course, makes a difference, and whether you've got planets or objects at 14 or 16 degrees anywhere in your natal chart, then of course that would make a difference too. And I know that you guys are learning and studying as well. Read everything you can, you know, is my suggestion always, right? Because there's so much to learn. I don't stop learning. I learn by experience. I learn by reading other astrologers. I learn by reading authors. I learn by corroborating people's experiences as well. And so it's all a learning curve. That's what life is anyway, you know. So Monday you start off with the Mars and Libra opposite each other. And this is kind of peaking. And I've explained in the Pisces for teens that sometimes, even though you may not have the same situations as adults, you could be experiencing their energy vicariously in that they're going through it, you may be watching them, and so you are being exposed to it or experiencing their stress. And sometimes we're really good at hiding stress, and then other times we're falling apart right in front of you. And it's just kind of the facts of life, and we don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, but then again, we also can't paint a perfect portrait of what life is, or else the first time you encounter a serious challenge, you'll be like, what the hell? I don't even know what to do. You know, so it's important for everybody to watch each other grow, learn, experience things, and work their ways through it. We got to watch each other work through it too, so that we can all kind of collectively learn from each other. The Two of Swords indicates here that there's an issue, either that you want to make a choice or you can't, or that you wish you had a choice and you don't. It could be that, let me just give you a very easy one to understand, that let's say if you have parents and they're divorcing, could be your friend's parents and they're divorcing, and you're very close with your friends, so you're watching all of this. And let's say your friend, let's pick on your friend. Your friend is given a choice. Are you going to go with your mother who's, you know, good for nothing, and then that's already messed up? Or are you going to go with me where you know you should be? And, you know, then the kid is like, man, I don't want to have to choose between either of my parents, or I want to go with this parent and my other parent is making me feel bad about it. You know, it's not your fault. It's actually their fault. And in so much as there isn't always a really easy way to define whose fault a divorce is, because sometimes they just need to happen, it's very difficult to get stuck in the middle of it, and or even watching one of your friends go through it. So whether it's you or one of your friends, you know, sibling or something, just be supportive by just being there. Maybe bring somebody a cup of tea or coffee or a nice cold beverage, and, you know, sit with them and just show them in quiet ways that you care. You don't even have to get involved in the discussion of whatever the problem is. You can just say, hey, I just want to give you a hug. I love you. And then let them show you how surprised they are for you just giving them your support. Sometimes people don't realize that other people care for them when they're going through these things, because they're so wrapped up in their own problems that they really don't see other people trying to reach out. And it could just be a hug that you give a relative of yours and say, I love you. I'm sorry you're going through this. I wish I could make it better. And you'll see you've made it better just by showing that person that you care. Tuesday, we've got the Ace of Wands in reverse. So there's a situation here that doesn't quite get off to the right start yet. For those of you working on senior projects, or you're in your junior year trying to figure out whether or not you know you're going to have to do summer school and got to keep your, you know, grades on the radar where they should be. This is maybe where you try to implement a new way of studying, and it might just be a little premature, or you wanted to take a new job and your parents actually said yes, you know, and then you go apply everywhere with them. I remember one time, or when my eldest had made it home, he was actually, long story short, kidnapped by his dad and a couple of other people involved. It really wasn't his dad's fault as much as it was somebody else's fault. But so I wanted him to get a job. His dad really didn't let him work. I wanted him to get on his feet and take a deep breath. He didn't even know how to drive, and so messed up. And I remember we pounded the pavement everywhere. I'd drive him places and he'd run in. He wanted to apply everywhere. And it was just so interesting watching this new person getting wind under their wings and getting ready to take off. And he was getting a little dismayed at first. And I said, hey, look, 50 rejections and 1 approval. That's all you need. You just need to get hired at one place and you'll be on your way. So it might not be the right time. It's like your parents finally give you permission and then nowhere is hiring because they've already got all their people for the seasonal jobs. Don't worry about it though, because Wednesday we've got the 5 of Cups here, and this is a card that indicates you might have a tendency to dwell on it, but I don't want you to do that because there's a lot of good that can come from this. Like I said, you don't want to be accepted by a job that's going to suck or that you're going to really resent. You want to be rejected by the jobs that you aren't meant for so that you get accepted by the ones sooner that you really are meant for. And of course, being young, you have to be careful and make sure that everything's cool, that you're not in somebody's creepy house alone, and that you don't end up in any precarious positions, and you'll be just fine. And I think that this will help you, your self-esteem really be more solid, because if you can make a few dollars babysitting even here and there, and you'll start to feel better about yourself. Like you might think that, oh, it's going to be so hard to buy a car and I need about $1,000 to get a junker. And okay, that may seem like it's really hard to do, but each time you get $10 10 times, babysitting some kids or walking some dogs or doing some weeding and gardening or cleaning up poop or doing something for the elderly, you've got $100 every time you do that 10 times. And it only takes 10 times of $100 to get to 1,000. So got to get started somewhere. So don't dwell on being rejected or anything like that too soon. And if it doesn't apply to you in terms of a job, it could apply to you in terms of being accepted into, maybe for those of you that are just getting old enough and are going to be going to college soon, you want to be approved a certain way, a certain grant, a certain loan to go to a certain college, and they got to approve you too. And remember, you will end up exactly where you're supposed to be without too much struggle on your own. You just keep moving forward like the little engine that could, right? It's trying to chug, 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 go up that hill. Well, each time that the little engine tries, the little engine is getting one step closer to the top. It's just getting up there, and he's He's saying to himself, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. Then he says, I know I can. And then he's pushed a little bit farther each time. So the Chariot in reverse shows up next. And this is a card that indicates there could be some opposition. I don't think it's going to be that difficult for you to determine what this difficulty is, because it's Mars in Libra, your solar 9th house, opposing Uranus in Aries, your solar 3rd house. So, it could be that you thought you were fine. Your parents said, I'm just giving you examples, okay? That your parents said you can get a job. So then you go get permission from the school and they're like, yeah, we can't give you permission to work because your grade point average is too low. And you're like, what? That's a thing? Well, yeah. They're trying to make sure that you don't end up getting so sidetracked that you have very low marks and grades at school. So remember, people are not trying to just piss on your parade. No matter what kind of a sourpuss face your counselor has at school, trust me, they're just trying to make sure that you're safe. And the more eager you are to listen to their advice and to ask them their perspective, the more they'll take a shine to you and they'll enjoy helping you. So this kind of an opposition can sometimes have us feeling at odds with how do I express to you that I really want this chance? And then the authority is saying, well, because you need to raise those grades and don't even ask. And you're like, wow. So of course we can get a little upset, but I think that you'll be able to find the right words to communicate what you are trying to do. Remember, be humble. Don't get all puffed up and pissed off, because then you're just going to ruffle the feathers on the old birds at school, so think about this. Have you ever heard the saying, and I really have to look up where this originated from, but you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. It's as if to say that the vinegar wouldn't attract the flies. Have you ever been in a house in the country? I've lived through this, so I could tell you, I know what the Amityville horror looks like. And so, we would hang these paper traps that were impregnated with some pheromone that the flies would come get stuck on. It would really break my heart. I suffered for the flies, that were kind of stuck until they finally perish there. But if you're trying to catch the flies in your house, you're going to need to put something to attract them. So to get somebody's support, you just need to say the right words. And Venus and Scorpio will trine Neptune and Pisces, giving you that ability. For those of you that are looking to get a job, you'll probably be able to talk your way through it. Don't be discouraged. Even if you have to go to all the places in town and go one more time to all of them and say, hey, just here to see if you've changed your mind, give it a try. What's the worst that could happen? They tell you no, so what? Go back a third time when you're bored just to see what they do, right? Friday, we've got the 10 of Wands in reverse, and I think that this is where you could lose a little bit of steam or be like, wow, I don't know if I'm tired. I don't know if I'm depressed. I don't know if I'm just like, dragon. And so just keep your energy levels up, get a little rest, be good to yourself. Take a nice shower, put on some warm pajamas, sit down with a book you like, sit down with an app you like. Oh my gosh, you know how much fun I have just like watching vines? My kids will pick the best vines and then come bother me with them. And I'll practically lose my water. Some of this stuff is so freaking hilarious. There are lots of people with good content out there, so entertain yourself. There's an adjustment here that needs to be made with Mars in Libra, quincunxing, that's an inconjunct to Chiron in Pisces. And so, you might have to restructure your expectations. When people are, I'm going to get a job and I'm going to buy a Mustang brand new this year, 2016, and then you're like, whoa, I didn't realize it was that complex. Well, just adjust your expectations to what's reasonable. Stay reasonable, but still, right? If you shoot for the moon and you miss, you're still going to be among the stars. So don't forget that. That's a new moon that you can act right after. So this weekend, if I were you, and if your parents or guardians, whoever's legally entrusted, your care has been entrusted to them, ask them if you can go out this weekend picking up applications. And if they say, no, I don't have time because say, but if I clean the bathrooms and the kitchen, you can't say no. Oh, yeah. You'll say you'll do it. And then you'll scoff at the kitty litter. Like, no. You have something I need. I need you to take me to the jobs. And I have something you need. You'd like me to have to set up the Christmas tree and the ornaments or clean the house or do whatever. Be sweet. Remember, flies, honey, vinegar, no flies. You just, I don't want flies either, you guys. Saturday, we have the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords here is talking about a need to, again, I really think I have to stress it with you guys more, rest the body. Your body is growing, and it will not be done growing for a long time. The brain, I try to remind you guys, it doesn't finish cooking until about the 25th year. You're growing organs, your bones are growing. Even if you think you've reached your adult height, and maybe you have, that doesn't mean that your organs and your tissues are not still growing. And look, even in this very easiest way to understand this, your brain is still cooking. Laugh, watch cartoons, watch funny movies, watch Elf. There's some crazy movie called Krampus or something like that. And I'm even thinking, damn, I wish I had the money to go see it, because that looks kind of awesome, weird. And it looks like it's pretty family friendly, right? Maybe not for little tiny kids, but I think they've compensated for that in other ways. So take good care of yourself. If you are out there putting in applications, don't get discouraged. Even if 50 times you're told, yeah, we're already done hiring, you say, hey, would you please keep me on file? I can show up in a New York minute. I can be here. I can start all, if I'm still available and you have a job, call me. Well, it could be the 50 rejections and the 51st. So don't give up. Don't give up after 50. Don't give up easy, because that's part of the thing. Employers want to see how much of a go-getter, hustler are you. And that, I don't mean that in like a gang-banging way or anything. I just mean like hustle, like do the hustle. I'm dating myself. You guys wouldn't know why that would be relevant. On Sunday, we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. And so again, this could be where you're feeling a little bit of that sense of lack, or like nobody wants me. Just a kid. They don't want to hire me. Keep going. Are you kidding me? There's stores everywhere. Just, be sweet and helpful to the person who's going to drive you around, because even if it's your parent or your friend, look, a sibling could be like, you could be like, look, you really need your room cleaned, and how about I help you do that, reorganize it, wipe down the walls, do whatever it is. Say, I'll help you. I'll do it with you. They'll be like, you better, and make good on it. Show responsibility. Take responsibility for what you will commit to somebody else, so that you can get them to do what you do. And you guys will see, we will work out just perfectly. Don't spend too much time. Like I said, I don't care if it's 150 rejections. It could be the 151st that you get accepted, and then they love you. Flip those burgers. Work that retail, right? Get moving.